Hey, what's up? It's the Fit Gear Hunter, and today we've got the final review for Whoop versus the Open. We've been tracking the heart rate accuracy over all of the Open workouts and a multiple of other workouts. We've been tracking it in different stages, first on the wrist, then on the forearm, and this last week tracking the accuracy on the bicep. As always, everything on the Fit Gear Hunter YouTube channel and the website associated with it is for the purpose of tracking and testing devices for CrossFit and high intensity interval training. And when CrossFit announced right before the Open that Whoop was now the official wearable of CrossFit, and I had done a number of reviews and felt like the heart rate accuracy was considerably off, I decided to launch a more in-depth analysis on the heart rate accuracy when doing CrossFit workouts, because obviously the wearable of CrossFit should accurately track CrossFit workouts, right? And the most fundamental aspect to track is the intensity of the workouts, the hardcore, hit it very hard, super high heart rate peaks that I found in the original reviews that I did that the heart rate was not keeping up at all in some ways. And so over the last few weeks, we've tracked it and we've done one open workout or two in 21.2 and 5 other workouts just to be able to see how can it hold up with the intensity of the Open, intensity of CrossFit. We first tracked it on the wrist, and what did we see? It came back at only 46% accurate. Now, how do we track the accuracy? It's not just looking at the average heart rate over the course of the workout, because that's one metric that has some minimal benefit, but the more important benefits is how does it keep up with the peak zones. The zone 4 and 5, which is 80 to 100% of your heart rate maximum, or zone 5, which is 90 to 100% of your heart rate maximum. Can it keep up with those most intense periods to give you an accurate strain score, which will in turn show how much recovery you need, how much sleep, how, ready you are for the most intense workout, and just fundamentally speaking, just will accurately track, did it keep up with the CrossFit workout? Because a lot of fitness trackers can't. And as we've seen in every single video, every single watch with an optical heart rate tracking device, you're not going to get good readings across numbers of them. So that first week we did the wrist and it came back incredibly low, lower than a number of other devices on the market that also, when worn on the wrist, came back at a higher percentage of accuracy. So it came in at 46%, which means it missed 54%. It missed more than it actually got right. So then we moved it up to the forearm. We tracked it on 21.2 plus 5 other workouts, and it came back at 75% accurate. So getting a little bit better, sort of trending in the right. And tonight we're going to look at the final results when tracking on the bicep for the Open 21.3 and 21.4, as well as the second 21.3 and 21.4, and a multiple of 4 other workouts alongside it to be able to see how accurate is it even on the bicep. Now, I have been wearing on the bicep the whole entire time for this particular period that I've been tracking it and testing it on the biceps, and it is frustrating to wear on the bicep permanently. It's also frustrating to mess around with the band, the bicep band or the regular band, to have it just go on the wrist and snap the band back in place. And that's just because I'm a no fuss, no muss, I don't want to mess with a bunch of little things. I just need to be able to get in and do it and be able to move on with the day because life is busy. So I just kept it on the bicep the whole time. It's amazing, how it flicks over. It would constantly, if I wore a shirt, it would flick like that. There was a couple times where it got too low on the bicep throughout the day, and then I could feel it rolling down my work shirt, down to my forearm, and I'm trying to get it back up. Just not a fun experience if you want to wear it permanently. So if you're going to get it, obviously, as we've said in all these videos, don't wear it on the wrist because you are missing the majority of your accuracy for tracking the intensity of your workouts. You're not going to get a good strain score. You're not going to track your average daily strain, which is going to flow into recovery. It's not going to give you good information. So you have to do we have to do forearm or bicep, and we're going to see how accurate it is. Now, I've tracked other devices when wrapped on the bicep. I've taken a watch extender, strapped it onto the bicep, and tested it, and all of them considerably went up in their accuracy. Polar, which I think was tracking at 67% when worn on the wrist, was actually tracking in the 90s when worn on the bicep. Even some of the poor different watches, I think the Sunto 7, which was tracking like 50% accurate on the wrist, was tracking somewhere higher on the bicep. So everybody's goes up. So it is for sure going to be the most likely place to get the best results if you are absolutely committed to the Whoop process. So it's a little bit frustrating. There's other reviewers that actually keep it on the bicep permanently. I don't love it. Maybe you'll get used to it over time. It doesn't seem like a comfortable place to wear it, but for that, we're just gonna get into the accuracy and move on. So let's take a look at the numbers. Okay, so what do we see? This is the first workout. This is the 21.3, 21.4 first attempts. Average heart rate at the bottom, and all these pictures you're gonna see on the Whoop side. Average heart rate 141, max heart rate 176. That's where the data is always gonna pop up. And I compared it to the Polar H10 chest strap when linked to the Vantage V2. So you can see in the top right on all of these same charts, the 146 beats per minute average, 174 max. But you can see the graph, it actually looked like it's tracking the trend for the lifting portion and the Metcon to follow, or actually this is the warm up, the intense 21.3, as well as the lift at the end. So you can see that it tracks the overall flow, and then we'll look at the end to see the accuracy of the heart rate. This is 21.3 and 21.4 again, a second time. And you can see the average 140 beats per minute, max 165, 149, 172. And then you look at the trend. So you can see that it's capturing, the line is a little bit low from the intensity of the actual workout. So this is the one where it really kind of failed to keep up with the peak zone. So you can see that it looks the same, but it's just not tracking as high. Again, another workout, 136 average heart rate, and you can look at the overall flow of the graph, 141 on the chest strap. So that's relatively accurate, and you can see it here. Some lifting sets, that was like deadlifts, and then a more intense, shorter Metcon at the end. You can see it actually tracked accurately. So now you see, again, you can see the tracking against, another workout. So 146 average, 154, so it missed some of the average. And again, the workout looks similar, but look, it missed a whole peak. This was 3 rounds with 1 minute break in between, and it missed a lot of the flow of the more intense zones. Even the hills themselves are not as big and rounded as they should have been. Again, another workout, more intense Metcon, 146 beats per minute and 150 beats per minute average. Sorry, some of these pictures aren't the same. So this did capture very well the intensity of the workout, because if you compare it to the chest strap, it looks very similar. Again, another Metcon with some heavy lifting. This was like sets of 10, then sets of 5 at different percentage max back squats, and then intense Metcon at the end. 135 beat per minute average, 140 beat per minute average on the chest strap. But look at the picture. The picture looks very similar. Had a spike in the middle, which only the chest strap picked up. It is sort of an irregular heartbeat thing where it will sometimes just jump to 200. It didn't pick that up obviously there. It obviously didn't pick it up on the Verity Sense optical. But the flow of the workout does look very similar. So what do we see in the results? So we can see here we have the different average heart rate zones, the percentage of accuracy on the average heart rate, the percentage of accuracy on the zone 5, which is the most strenuous, 90 to 100% of maximum heart rate, and then the zone 4 and 5, which is 80 to 100%, the whole kit and caboodle above that. So you can see in orange where it got a B score, in red where it got an F, in pink where it got a C or a D, and then in green where it got an A. So we see a lot more greens in this particular place of tracking on the Bicep. So how does that work too in the final results? So the average heart rate accuracy across all the workouts was 87% accurate on the average heart rate. The zone 5 was 74% accurate, so not missing 25% of the most strenuous points of the workout, and then 86% when you just take both zone 4 and 5 together. So it's capturing a majority of the upper levels, just not the peak levels. And what is the final accuracy result when tracked on a Bicep for the Whoop? 80.7. Now, as we can see, in this previous, obviously there's a lot of greens, and so there is more accuracy, and it is to say that the numbers are looking definitely better, but still the net score is 80.7 in accuracy. So let's come together and talk a little bit about how that could affect things. So what do we see? 80% accurate. That's not what we want to see. Obviously, when we look at some of the numbers, there was a couple of workouts that just fell short, meaning that they didn't track the peak zones. They didn't cross over, for me, my 90 to 100% of maximum intensity max max effort. So for most people, if you're younger, your intense zones are much higher. And so can it get to those peak zones? So there was that one workout in the peak 5 and the second time I did 21.3 and 21.4 that it basically just sort of failed in the zone 5, got 25% accuracy. It was basically hovering around my 90% line. So you can see that in a lot of the other workouts, it did track correctly or did track more accurately. And so you always want to make sure you're strapping it down. I don't think it was loose on the day I did 21.3. I'm not sure why it got such terrible results. And you can see that it's close to the same results, meaning when I had a chest strap, I was tracking, let's say at 160 beats per minute, which is just over my 90% line of 158. And the Whoop was coming in at 156. So it was just not tracking. It was tracking only in the 80 to 100% line. So that's just how the cookie crumbles, but you just want to have awareness of that. You want to have awareness of what goes into it. And if that number had been better, if we tossed that number out, the accuracy would go to maybe the mid to high 80s. And you can see some of the green. We had green appear for the first time. Now, some of the green recently in those last few tests, I did a lot less arm movement in my workouts, meaning like specifically yesterday, it's 50 calories on the salt bike, and then it was like box jump overs, it was chest to bars, dumbbell snatches. You have 2 sets of chest to bars, box step overs, then you ended with 50 calories. So it wasn't a lot of flex across the bicep, across the arms. There wasn't a lot of movement. It was a little bit more steady state. The workout today was a little bit more steady state, and it was actually keeping up with the different parts, so you can see the accuracy was better. Either way, you want to be aware of what you're looking at or what you're tracking and what your device is going to put out so that you know how to keep an eye on the metrics. But bottom line, 80% is average. And we've had watches on the wrist that tracked at an 80% accuracy. The Apple Watch tracked at 96% accuracy, which was surely the best, but I don't consider that a fitness tracking watch because it doesn't track any of the in-depth fitness details that Garmin and Polar and Suunto and a lot of the main Coros, a lot of the main ones do. So anyway, that is the summation. So what's coming up next is we're going to do a review. And just before I forget, a side note, Whoop actually put out, and I said this in my second video, so during 21.2 with all the snatches and burpee box jump overs, they put out a video of Christian Harris and his 21.2 experience. He did it in like 11 minutes. He's super fit. He's also younger, so his maximum heart rate is going to be higher, and his ability to get higher heart rate zones is going to be more accurate. And they actually showed on the commercial his average heart rate for 21.2, 11 minutes of the most tense type workout was 117 beats per minute. That was embarrassing. There's no way his average heart rate is 117 beats with the level of intensity of that workout. No way. And then they just did this commercial recently where they showed the average of all CrossFitter, the elite CrossFitters that tested across the open, the whole open, all the CrossFitters, all the intensity, all the high peak heart rate zones, all, hitting the levels of threshold with the handstand walking or double unders. Your heart rate is going to be super high with all these types of workouts. And they said the average of all the CrossFitters of all the open workouts was 126 beats per minute. Not accurate. All of them are wearing it on the wrist. Not trustworthy information. I just have to keep saying that because if you're going to wear the Whoop, and there is a lot of valuable information to come from the Whoop device that you can glean from it and it'll benefit your life. And if you're going to wear one, you just can't wear it on the wrist if you want to have accuracy. You either have to fidget with switching between the bicep band and the wristband in the day-to-day life and then go into the workout putting on the bicep band, or get used to it on the bicep band. Whatever you're going to do, you just got to figure that out because it's not accurate on the wrist, as we've seen. So there you have it. That's the accuracy test. I'm going to come out with a full review for the Whoop 3.0 strap in the next couple of days. Fit Gear Hunter, thanks so much for watching.